In the halls of Congress and on battlefields from Yemen to Syria, an aging warrior refuses to die. The A-10 Thunderbolt II, better known by its fearsome nickname, Warthog, has survived yet another attempt at retirement, emerging stronger and more lethal than ever before. In December 2025, Congress delivered a stunning rebuke to Air Force plans to mothball all 162 remaining A-10s, instead capping retirements at just 59 aircraft and demanding the fleet receive massive modernization upgrades. What makes this nearly 50-year-old aircraft so irreplaceable? How have recent technological enhancements transformed the Warthog from a Cold War relic into a 21st century weapon system? Join us as we explore how the A-10 Warthog's huge modernization has created a weapons platform more devastating than anything its designers could have imagined. The story of the A-10's latest lease on life begins with a bureaucratic battle that has raged for over a decade. The Air Force has repeatedly sought to retire the Warthog, arguing its slow speed and vulnerability to advanced air defenses doom it in peer conflicts against adversaries like China or Russia. Pentagon officials envisioned replacing the A-10 with F-35 Lightning IIs and advanced drones, believing multi-role stealth fighters represent the future of close air support. They painted a compelling picture of modern warfare where aircraft operating low and slow over battlefields would be sitting ducks for sophisticated surface-to-air missile systems like the Russian S-400 or Chinese HQ-9. According to this logic, the A-10 belonged in museums alongside other honored veterans whose time had passed. Congress saw things differently, and operational data from 2025 provided the ammunition they needed to fight back. When Houthi forces in Yemen deployed swarms of Iranian-supplied drones against American and allied targets, A-10s from the 124th Fighter Wing deployed to the Middle East proved devastatingly effective. The Warthogs hunted down and destroyed these slow-moving drones with remarkable efficiency, racking up kill markings on their fuselages that told the story of successful engagements. Images from these deployments showed A-10s employing AGR-20F Falcon rockets, GBU-54 JDAM guided bombs, and of course the legendary GAU-8 Avenger 30mm cannon that defines the aircraft's identity. When Syrian government forces attempted to advance on positions held by US-backed fighters, A-10s conducting strafing runs stopped the assault in its tracks, demonstrating the psychological impact these aircraft create on the battlefield. The National Defense Authorization Act conference bill, unveiled on December 7, 2025, represented a decisive congressional victory for Warthog supporters. Lawmakers not only limited A-10 retirements to 59 aircraft for fiscal year 2026, but also redirected $250 million from F-35 modification programs into spare parts stockpiles for the A-10 fleet. This funding ensures the remaining 103 Warthogs can maintain high readiness rates and continue flying combat missions. One Senate Armed Services Committee staffer captured the sentiment perfectly when they quipped that you don't scrap a tank buster when tanks are still rolling. This statement reflects a fundamental truth that Air Force leadership seemed to forget. The missions A-10s perform cannot be easily replicated by other aircraft, regardless of how advanced those platforms might be. Understanding why the A-10 remains indispensable requires examining the aircraft's extraordinary design philosophy. Unlike every other combat aircraft in the American inventory, the A-10 was designed from the beginning around a single weapon, the General Electric GAU-8 Avenger autocannon. This massive 30mm rotary gun literally defines the aircraft's entire structure and mission. The Warthog isn't an airplane with a big gun attached. It's a flying gun with an airplane built around it to make it work. This distinction matters profoundly when understanding both the aircraft's capabilities and the passionate loyalty it inspires from ground troops who have seen it in action. The GAU-8 Avenger represents one of the most fearsome weapons ever mounted on an aircraft. This 7-barrel Gatling-style cannon measures 19 feet 10.5 inches in total length, with barrels extending 90.5 inches. The weapon weighs 619.5 pounds empty, and when fully loaded with ammunition, the entire gun system, including the circular drum magazine, tips the scales at over 4,000 pounds. To put this in perspective, the complete GAU-8 system weighs more than most automobiles. The ammunition drum alone holds 1,174 rounds of 30mm ammunition, each cartridge measuring 11.4 inches in length and weighing over 1.5 pounds. The sheer size of this weapon system dictated virtually every aspect of the A-10's design. The performance characteristics of the GAU-8 defy belief. Powered by dual hydraulic motors, the cannon spins its 7 barrels at tremendous speed, achieving a rate of fire of 3,900 rounds per minute. During the first second after the trigger is pulled, the gun fires approximately 50 rounds as it spins up to full speed, then settles into firing 65 rounds every subsequent second. This creates a distinctive sound that has become legendary on battlefields worldwide. The sound is so unique because by the time someone on the ground hears the gun firing, the rounds have already impacted, having traveled at supersonic velocities exceeding Mach 3. The psychological effect on enemy forces is devastating. They hear the sound of impacts and the gun firing simultaneously, knowing that if they're hearing it, they've already been missed or are about to be hit. The ammunition the GAU-8 fires makes it a true tank killer. The standard combat load mixes 2 types of 30mm rounds, PGU-13, B high explosive incendiary shells, and PGU-14B armor-piercing incendiary rounds. The HEI rounds destroy light vehicles, trucks, and unarmored targets with explosive force. The real punch comes from the API rounds, each of which incorporates over half a pound of depleted uranium. This super dense metal, 1.7 times denser than lead, gives the projectiles incredible kinetic energy and armor-penetrating capability. When fired, these depleted uranium penetrators can punch through 69mm of armored steel at 500 meters range and 38mm at 1,000 meters. Against the top armor of most tanks, which is typically thinner than the frontal or side armor, this penetration is more than adequate. The accuracy of the GAU-8 astounds anyone who considers the challenges involved. Firing a gun this powerful from a moving aircraft while hitting targets thousands of feet below requires extraordinary precision. The weapon achieves what's called 5mm 80% accuracy, meaning 80% of rounds fired will impact within a cone angle of 5 milliradians. At the gun's designed engagement range of 4,000 feet, this translates to a 40-foot diameter circle. To appreciate this precision, imagine firing nearly 4,000 rounds per minute from an aircraft traveling at 300 miles per hour, several thousand feet above the ground, and still putting 80% of those rounds into a circle smaller than a basketball court. This accuracy comes from careful engineering, including mounting the gun slightly off-center to port so the firing barrel aligns with the aircraft's center line, reducing the effect of recoil on aim. Speaking of recoil, the GAU-8 produces forces that would be comical if they weren't so serious. The average recoil force generated when firing reaches 10,000 pounds, which remarkably exceeds the thrust produced by each of the A-10's 2 General Electric TF-34 turbofan engines at 9,065 pounds each. Think about that for a moment. The gun's recoil is more powerful than the engines trying to push the aircraft forward. In practice, firing the cannon in level flight slows the aircraft by only a few miles per hour because the bursts are short, typically 1 to 2 seconds. However, the fact that the gun could theoretically slow or even reverse the aircraft's forward movement if fired continuously demonstrates the enormous power involved. The A-10's entire structure had to be engineered to absorb and redirect these massive forces without tearing itself apart or throwing the aircraft off target. The massive modernization effort transforming the A-10 builds on the foundation established by the precision engagement upgrade that created the A-10C variant beginning in 2005. That program added precision-guided weapons capability, a partial glass cockpit with modern displays, and the Lightning Advanced Targeting Pod. The current modernization, often called Suite 10, represents the most comprehensive enhancements since then, fundamentally expanding what the Warthog can accomplish on the battlefield. Suite 10 began fielding in spring 2021 and continues rolling out across the fleet, transforming capabilities in ways that make the aircraft dramatically more lethal. The centerpiece of Suite 10 involves multiple target list improvements, enabling pilots to engage multiple targets with 3 different weapon types on a single attack pass. Previously, A-10 pilots had to focus on one target at a time, making separate attack runs for each. Now the aircraft's computer systems can sequence weapon employment, allowing the pilot to designate multiple targets and weapon pairings and execute the entire attack in a single devastating pass. Imagine an A-10 approaching an enemy position where intelligence has identified 3 tanks, 2 armored personnel carriers, and an ammunition depot. The pilot designates each target, assigns the appropriate weapon to each, then executes the attack run. The GAU-8 shreds the personnel carriers, JDAM bombs destroy the ammunition depot, and AGM-65 Maverick missiles eliminate the tanks, all without requiring multiple passes that would expose the aircraft to additional defensive fire. Full integration of the AGR-20 Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System, known as APKWS, adds terrifying new capabilities. This weapon system transforms the veteran 2.75-inch folded fin aerial rocket into a precision-guided munition by adding a mid-body laser guidance kit. The result is a weapon that combines the low cost and high volume of unguided rockets with the accuracy of expensive guided missiles. An A-10 can carry dozens of APKWS rockets on wing pylons, creating an enormous magazine of precision firepower. The Suite 10 upgrade provides the pilot with improved targeting solutions designed to engage targets at the rocket's maximum kinematic range, extracting every bit of performance from the weapon. This means A-10 pilots can now prosecute targets at distances that keep them outside the range of many short-range air defense systems, increasing survivability while maintaining lethality. Enhanced JDAM integration brings expanded fuse options and improved weapon feedback to the cockpit. The GBU-31V3 Joint Direct Attack Munition, essentially a 2,000-pound bomb with GPS guidance, becomes even more versatile through the ability to select different fusing modes for different targets. Pilots receive better information about weapon status and employment parameters, increasing confidence in accuracy and reducing the chances of weapon failures. When combined with the improved targeting pod's capabilities, this integration allows A-10s to deliver precision strikes in all weather conditions, day or night, against targets that previous generations of the aircraft couldn't effectively engage. The avionics modernization extends far beyond weapon systems. High-resolution digital glass primary cockpit instruments replace aging analog gauges, providing pilots with clearer, more detailed information about aircraft systems and battlefield conditions. These modern displays can be configured to show different information based on mission phase, giving pilots exactly what they need when they need it. Directional audio threat cueing adds another layer of situational awareness by providing audio cues through the pilot's helmet that indicate the direction of radar threats or missile launches. If a surface-to-air missile system locks onto the aircraft, the pilot hears a warning tone indicating the direction of the threat, allowing immediate defensive maneuvers even if visual or instrument identification hasn't occurred yet. Modernized UHF and VHF communication systems, along with the addition of Ethernet networking, transform how A-10s integrate with other forces. The aircraft can now participate in Link 16 data networks, sharing tactical information with other aircraft, ground forces, and command centers in real time. This networking allows A-10s to receive targeting data from other platforms, whether F-35 fighters using their advanced sensors to identify targets, drones orbiting overhead with surveillance cameras, or forward air controllers on the ground marking enemy positions. The pilot sees this information integrated into their displays, dramatically reducing the time from target identification to weapon employment. The network also enables the A-10 to share information it collects, feeding data back to the broader force and contributing to the common operational picture. The transition to onboard oxygen generation systems eliminates one of the A-10's long-standing logistics challenges. Traditional systems required ground crews to service aircraft with liquid oxygen, a process that complicated operations from austere forward bases. OBOGS extracts oxygen from the air passing through the engines, providing the pilot with unlimited breathable oxygen without ground support. This enhancement directly supports tactics development focused on operating from minimal infrastructure locations. The Warthog can now deploy to rough airstrips closer to front lines, operate for extended periods without sophisticated ground support, and maintain combat capability even when supply lines are threatened. The ongoing wing replacement program addresses structural concerns that threaten to ground the fleet prematurely. Boeing has delivered replacement wing sets that are more durable, efficient, and easier to maintain than the original wings. These new wings extend each aircraft's service life to 10,000 flight hours, ensuring the airframes can continue flying for decades. The re-winging program, completed in 2024, has already extended the lives of hundreds of Warthogs, and additional wing sets continue to be manufactured and installed on the remaining fleet. Combined with ongoing structural inspections and component replacements, these new wings guarantee the A-10 will remain physically capable of flying combat missions well into the 2040 timeframe. Engine improvements deserve special attention because they address one of the few areas where the A-10 has shown its age. The General Electric TF-34 turbofan engines currently operate slightly detuned compared to their original thrust specifications due to parts availability and aging components. New parts suppliers using modern manufacturing techniques are working to restore the engines to their full original thrust output. While this won't make the A-10 a speed demon, every bit of additional thrust improves performance in critical areas like takeoff distance from short runways, climb rate when exiting an attack run, and acceleration when evading threats. The engines also benefit from improved reliability and reduced maintenance requirements thanks to modern materials and manufacturing precision. Tactics development and evaluation programs are revolutionizing how A-10s employ their enhanced capabilities. The 422nd Test and Evaluation Squadron has conducted multiple tactics development and evaluations addressing air combat command tactics improvement proposals. One particularly important evaluation examined night medium-altitude survivability and low-altitude tactics. Modern night vision goggle fidelity has improved so dramatically that pilots can now consider executing primary missions at lower altitudes during nighttime operations. This creates new options for penetrating defended airspace under cover of darkness, using terrain masking and the enhanced vision systems to identify and engage targets while remaining difficult to detect and track. The psychological effect of Warthogs appearing out of the darkness, destroying targets, and vanishing before defenders can respond cannot be overstated. Other tactics development efforts focus on adapting combat search and rescue procedures and engaging maritime targets with APKWS rockets. The CSAR mission represents one of the A-10's most valued capabilities. When an American pilot or special operations team faces capture behind enemy lines, Warthogs provide the firepower to suppress enemy forces during rescue operations. Enhanced tactics make these already dangerous missions more survivable and effective. Maritime targeting with APKWS opens entirely new mission possibilities, allowing A-10s to engage small boats, patrol craft, and coastal installations with precision. This capability is particularly valuable in littoral environments, where adversaries use swarms of small attack craft to threaten larger vessels and critical infrastructure. Continued efforts to enhance operations in austere environments represent perhaps the most strategically important area of tactics development. The A-10 was designed from the beginning to operate from rough, unpaved airstrips close to the front lines. Modern great power competition scenarios envision distributed operations in which aircraft disperse to numerous small, hard-to-target locations, rather than concentrating at major air bases that present lucrative targets for enemy missiles. The A-10's ability to operate from highways, dirt strips, and damaged runways with minimal ground support makes it ideal for this distributed concept. Enhanced tactics and training ensure crews can maximize these capabilities, maintaining sortie generation rates even when operating from locations that would ground more demanding aircraft. The combat record being compiled by modernized A-10s provides compelling evidence of their continued relevance. In 2025, several Warthogs deployed to the Middle East under U.S. Central Command participated in drone interception missions that would have seemed impossible for an aircraft designed in the 1970s. Iranian-supplied Shahed drones, essentially flying bombs with turboprop engines, threatened American forces and regional allies. These drones fly slowly enough that modern supersonic fighters struggle to engage them effectively. The speed differential makes intercepts challenging and forces fighters to slow to vulnerable speeds. The A-10, already designed to fly slowly, proved perfectly suited for hunting these threats. Using combinations of cannon fire, APKWS rockets, and small-diameter bombs, Warthogs methodically eliminated drone after drone, protecting friendly forces and infrastructure. The effectiveness metrics tell the story. A-10s achieved remarkably high kill rates against drone targets while expending far less expensive ammunition per kill than other platforms. When an F-15 or F-16 engages a drone costing perhaps $20,000, they might use an AIM-9 Sidewinder missile costing over $400,000. An A-10 can destroy the same drone with a 2-second cannon burst, costing perhaps a few $100s in ammunition, or an APKWS rocket costing roughly $30,000. This cost-effectiveness matters profoundly when facing swarm attacks involving dozens or hundreds of drones. The Warthog can engage target after target without exhausting expensive missile magazines, providing sustained defense that other aircraft simply cannot match economically. Strafing runs against Syrian forces demonstrated the A-10's continued effectiveness in traditional close air support. When American-backed fighters came under assault from advancing Syrian government units supported by artillery and armor, Warthogs responded with devastating effect. The first pass destroyed several armored vehicles with precision-guided weapons. Then subsequent passes employed the GAU-8 against concentrations of troops and unarmored vehicles. The psychological effect broke the Syrian advance. Survivors reported the terror of facing an aircraft they could hear but struggled to see at low altitude. An aircraft that kept coming back, methodically destroying everything in its path. This is the essence of what makes the A-10 irreplaceable. The combination of staying power, weapons capacity, and psychological impact on enemy ground forces. The U.S. military just crossed a red line that has stunned foreign navies. While patrolling the Pacific, a group of sailors spotted something impossible, a secret variant of the A-10 Warthog, flying low, fast, and armed with weapons no one's ever seen before. This wasn't a training flight, it was a silent warning. What is this mystery aircraft doing over the ocean? And why is the Pentagon refusing to comment? Join us as we uncover the truth behind the secret Super A-10 spotted above the Pacific. On December 6, 2024, 4 A-10 Thunderbolt II aircraft were seen flying toward Clark Air Base in the Philippines. Their presence sparked attention online, prompting the U.S. Air Force to confirm they were part of a joint training mission with the Philippine Air Force through December 16th. The A-10, often called the Warthog, is built for war. Armed with a 30mm cannon and up to 16,000 pounds of bombs and missiles, it is designed to destroy tanks and even armored targets. It has also proven capable of striking small ships in recent years, showing its growing role in maritime operations. This deployment followed the sighting of nearly 100 Chinese vessels near Thitu Island, a territory held by the Philippines. The island sits in the South China Sea, a region of long-standing territorial disputes. China claims nearly the entire sea, which overlaps with claims from several countries, including the Philippines. These disputes have led to repeated clashes at sea and growing political tension. Since 1951, a mutual defense treaty has linked the U.S. and the Philippines. The agreement states that an attack on either country's aircraft, ships, or armed forces in the Pacific, including the South China Sea, would require both to respond. The A-10s sent to the Philippines came from the 25th Fighter Squadron, South Korea. They were deployed under the U.S. military's dynamic force employment strategy. This concept focuses on keeping American movements flexible and less predictable while staying focused on long-term goals. This approach keeps rivals uncertain and cautious in today's tense global climate, especially in the Indo-Pacific. The U.S. sees the Indo-Pacific as a critical region. As China grows more powerful, the Pentagon continues to test and improve its readiness. The A-10's arrival marks the second joint air exercise with the Philippines since late November. In the earlier drill, both sides flew fighter jets over the Philippine Sea, showing their cooperation and ability to respond together. The A-10 Thunderbolt II was never built for style or speed. It was built to dominate the ground game. While faster jets often overshoot or struggle with precision strikes, the A-10 excels at low altitude, close quarters combat, cruising at just 350 miles per hour to deliver deadly accuracy where it counts. Every part of its design favors durability and control. Reinforced with a honeycomb structure, the wings are lightweight yet rugged. Its oversized ailerons stretch nearly half the wingspan, giving it impressive agility at low speeds. This lets the Warthog stay locked on targets in tight, low-flying conditions, where precision is everything. Designed to take heavy damage and keep flying, the A-10 is a relentless force overhead, silent, steady, and dependable in the face of ground threats. Despite its battlefield potential, the A-10 wasn't initially embraced. Many pilots viewed it as sluggish and unattractive compared to sleek, high-speed fighters. That perception began to shift in 1987 when the A-10 was redesignated for forward air control missions, signaling its evolving role. Its first operation came in 1983 during Operation Urgent Fury in Grenada, where it was deployed to support marine landings. No shots were fired, and no enemy aircraft rose to challenge it. Everything changed in 1991 during the Gulf War. 132 A-10s were deployed, and what followed secured the Warthog's legendary status. Along with devastating ground attacks, the A-10 proved it could fight in the air. It took down 2 Iraqi helicopters, including one destroyed by Captain Robert Swain using the GAU-8 Avenger cannon. The war, however, was unforgiving. 4 A-10s were shot down, 11 more were hit and returned to base. 2 were too damaged to be repaired. 1 crash-landed beyond recovery. As losses mounted, commanders reassigned A-10s to lower-risk missions near the southern border. Even then, the Warthog stayed aggressive, precisely targeting Scud launchers and armored units. They flew over 8,100 sorties, launched most of the Mavericks used in the war, and achieved a mission success rate of 95.7%. Calls to replace the A-10 with a modified F-16 soon faded. The Warthog had proven itself and earned its place. The Gulf War wasn't the end of the A-10's relevance. In the mid-1990s, A-10s were deployed to Bosnia during intense unrest. They fired over 10,000 rounds of 30mm ammunition, targeting stolen tanks and artillery held by Bosnian Serb forces. On August 11, 1994, 2 A-10s tracked and destroyed an anti-tank vehicle, leading to the surrender of the remaining stolen weapons. The mission demonstrated how the aircraft's mere presence could shift the battlefield. A year later, during NATO's Operation Deliberate Force, the Warthog returned to combat, neutralizing enemy artillery and fortified positions. Even after the campaign ended, A-10s remained in the skies, deterring any resurgence of hostile activity. In 1999, the A-10 was called into action over Kosovo. Initially tasked with combat search and rescue, it was quickly reassigned to ground attack operations. On April 6th, it launched its first major strike and remained active through the war's final weeks, delivering precise firepower until the campaign concluded in June. The aircraft did not participate in the earliest phase of the Afghanistan invasion in 2001. Its return came in March 2002 when it was deployed to bases in Pakistan and Afghanistan. During Operation Anaconda, A-10s struck Taliban and al-Qaeda fighters entrenched in the mountains. Even after the official operation ended, the Warthog remained in the region, carrying out one of its most extended continuous deployments. Its mission was clear: locate, engage, and eliminate hostile forces in unforgiving terrain. In 2003, the A-10 returned to full-scale war during Operation Iraqi Freedom. 60 Warthogs were launched at the start of the invasion, and their impact was immediate. Missions were conducted with an 85% success rate, reflecting the aircraft's reliability and pilot expertise. A-10s fired over 380,000 rounds of 30mm ammunition and were even used to drop propaganda leaflets to break enemy morale. Despite its toughness, one aircraft was lost near Baghdad International Airport after sustaining heavy fire. By 2007, the A-10 had been upgraded. The new A-10C variant introduced digital targeting systems and modern communication tools. The Maryland Air National Guard was the first to take the upgraded Warthog into combat. These enhancements allowed for faster target acquisition and greater accuracy. Between 2009 and 2012, the A-10 flew up to 34,500 missions annually. Even in 2013, it remained essential in Afghanistan, recording over 11,000 sorties in 6 months. Between 2006 and 2013, The A-10 Warthog flew 19% of all close air support missions in Iraq and Afghanistan, more than the F-15E Strike Eagle and B-1B bomber. Only the F-16 flew more. However, regarding raw firepower delivered at close range, few aircraft matched the Warthog's battlefield impact. Its relevance continued in 2011 during Operation Odyssey Dawn in Libya, where A-10s attacked Libyan ground forces with the same precision they had shown in earlier conflicts. Decades after its introduction, the Warthog remained a dependable and deadly asset in U.S. combat operations. By 2015, the A-10 was once again drawn into a growing conflict. The 122nd Fighter Wing was deployed to the Middle East as ISIS expanded across Iraq. By mid-November, A-10s were conducting near-daily strikes against ISIS targets in central and northwestern Iraq. In just 2 months, the aircraft accounted for 11% of all U.S. Air Force missions in the region, reaffirming its dominance in close air support. Despite its effectiveness, the Air Force had already begun shifting focus to the future. Military planners deemed the A-10 outdated and pushed for its retirement, reallocating $4.2 billion to the F-35 Lightning II, a stealth, multi-role fighter. But the decision sparked a fierce debate in Washington. Congress quickly intervened. Many lawmakers, aware of the A-10's battlefield value, demanded that any replacement match its performance. The Air Force could not proceed with retirement unless the F-35 proved equally capable in real-world combat. Instead of being retired, the A-10 was upgraded. Congress blocked its phase-out and ordered enhancements to extend its operational life. It forced the military to improve a platform it had planned to abandon, fueling ongoing debate about the future of close air support. Then on November 15, 2015, just 2 days after the Paris terrorist attacks, A-10s returned to combat. In coordination with AC-130 gunships, they launched a decisive strike in Syria, destroying over 100 ISIS-controlled oil tankers. The mission, named Tidal Wave 2, aimed to dismantle ISIS's oil smuggling network and sever one of its main sources of revenue. Unlike the failed World War II raid it was named after, this time the mission succeeded. Though the A-10 earned its reputation as one of the most lethal ground attack aircraft ever built, its history is marked by controversy. On December 8, 1988, tragedy struck in Remscheid, West Germany, when an A-10A lost control in poor weather and crashed into an apartment building. The pilot and 6 civilians were killed, and 50 others were injured. Investigators blamed disorientation due to low visibility, but years later, a sharp rise in cancer rates reignited fears that the aircraft may have carried depleted uranium rounds, despite official denials. Nearly a decade later, a more baffling incident occurred. On April 2, 1999, Captain Craig D. Button veered hundreds of miles off course during a routine flight from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. He ignored all radio contact, never attempted to eject, and ultimately crashed into a remote Colorado mountainside. The crash was ruled a suicide, but more profound questions emerged. Button's aircraft carried live bombs that were never recovered. Then on March 28, 2003, during the Iraq War, British troops came under friendly fire from A-10s. Lance Corporal Matty Hull was killed, and 5 others were wounded. The incident drew harsh scrutiny over the aircraft's targeting systems and the risks of miscommunication during close air support. The A-10's combat record in Afghanistan also faced criticism between 2010 and 2017. It was linked to more civilian casualties than any other U.S. aircraft and was involved in multiple friendly fire events, including one that killed 10 American troops. These incidents raised tough questions about the aircraft's place in modern warfare. Yet despite its flaws, the A-10's effectiveness was never in doubt. Its ability to deliver sustained, precise firepower and survive heavy damage kept it indispensable to commanders on the ground. By 2026, efforts to retire the Warthog had stalled. Congressional pushback, growing global tensions, and delays in the F-35 program forced the Pentagon to rethink. Retirement plans were shelved, political support surged, and battlefield performance proved there was still no equal. The aircraft's evolution reached a new phase with the Suite 8 upgrade package. Among its standout features was the V-12 airborne recovery system, significantly improving coordination between pilots, special forces, and downed air crews. This upgrade enhanced the A-10's precision and broadened its mission scope into rescue operations. But the true breakthrough came with its new standoff capabilities. Outfitted with long-range guided munitions, the A-10 no longer had to fly dangerously close to enemy fire. It could deliver devastating strikes from a distance, shifting from a low-altitude brawler to a long-range enforcer, changing how the Warthog waged war. In parallel, the A-10 Warthog underwent a major leap in night warfare capabilities. With the integration of advanced night vision systems, it could now operate effectively at low altitudes in total darkness. Coupled with faster-loading AGR-20 precision rockets, it delivered faster, deadlier strikes, reshaping battlefield timelines and tempo. Then came Suite 9, bringing even more powerful upgrades. A new situational awareness pad enabled seamless digital coordination with ground forces. Joint Terminal Attack Controllers could now relay exact coordinates electronically, eliminating the need for voice commands or visual signals. This dramatically improved mission precision. Target verification systems were also added to reduce friendly fire. The system added a critical safety layer in combat by automatically cross-checking coordinates and target profiles before each strike. Meanwhile, multi-target capabilities allowed the Warthog to engage up to 6 threats simultaneously, using munitions ranging from 500-pound bombs to 2,000-pound JDAMs, selected based on mission needs. Pilots received Hobbit helmets with real-time head tracking, enabling weapons to be guided simply by looking at a target. This reduced reaction time and increased accuracy in fast-paced combat. The A-10 had transformed. No longer just a Cold War tank buster, it became a modern, tech-equipped battlefield asset, capable of operating in remote, unpredictable war zones with minimal support. Still, its future remained uncertain. Congress demanded proof that upgrades made the Warthog superior to its intended replacement, the F-35. But when a head-to-head test was scheduled, the Air Force wasn't eager for transparency. Rumors spread that the trial was biased in the F-35's favor. Most of the results were hidden. No public footage, no definitive answers, just silence, fueling suspicion. The sleek and stealthy F-35 was built for high-speed, deep-penetration strikes, not close air support. It couldn't loiter low and slow over ground troops like the Warthog. And that was the issue. Close air support demands toughness and proximity, flying low, absorbing fire, and striking back instantly. That was the Warthog's domain. Its titanium bathtub cockpit protected pilots, who often flew low enough to see the fight unfold in real time. Despite its unmatched capabilities, the Air Force continued pushing to retire it, driven largely by budget politics. The F-35 was a $400 billion mega project. Admitting it couldn't replace the A-10 was politically and financially challenging. But the Warthog wasn't finished. Suite 10 marked the most dramatic upgrade in its history. It now carried AGR-20 rockets, JDAM kits for precision bombing, and small-diameter bombs for multi-target runs. Theoretically, a single A-10 could destroy up to 18 enemy positions in one pass, each with a different weapon. That wasn't all. A synthetic aperture radar gave the Warthog hunters vision, able to track and lock onto targets through smoke, fog, or darkness with lethal clarity. Boeing followed up with a massive hardware overhaul, delivering 173 new wing sets rated for 20,000 flight hours each. The Air Force added another 112 through the ATAC program, securing the A-10's place in the skies for years to come. But the transformation didn't stop there. A cutting-edge data link system was installed, allowing A-10s to share real-time battlefield intelligence, dramatically improving coordination and target engagement. The Warthog was no longer just relevant, it was more lethal, aware, and adaptable than ever. At Eglin Air Force Base, the next leap came with a project called Suite 10. This wasn't routine maintenance, it was a full-scale digital modernization. Using agile development, upgrades were delivered faster to meet the demands of modern combat. Suite 11 introduced major enhancements: jam-resistant GPS, a next-gen ARC-210 radio, immersive 3D audio, and an 11.6-inch high-res digital display. Central to it all was a revamped cockpit interface, replacing analog dials with intuitive digital systems that gave pilots sharper visuals and more precise control, marking the A-10's most significant interior overhaul since 2005. With its systems transformed and its battlefield credibility restored, the Warthog returned to action. In January 2018, 12 A-10s thundered into Kandahar, Afghanistan, with a clear mission: eliminate enemy forces with the precision and brutality the aircraft was built for. During the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, Kyiv requested 100 surplus A-10s, confident in the jet's tank-killing power, but the Pentagon declined, citing the aircraft's slower speed and vulnerability to advance Russian air defenses. Still, the Warthog remained active. By late 2024, it was flying missions over Syria. Enemy vehicles, mortar positions, and even a Soviet T-64 tank were destroyed with devastating firepower. On December 8th, as the Assad regime crumbled, A-10s joined B-52s and Fa-15Es in a sweeping bombing campaign that neutralized over 75 ISIS strongholds in days, denying the group any chance at resurgence. If the U.S. were to greenlight A-10 Warthog attack missions in the South China Sea, it would ignite one of the most intriguing military showdowns of the modern era. While many would instinctively scoff at the A-10's chances against China's modern air fleet, especially sleek, fast fighters like the Chengdu J-10C, Shenyang J-16, or even the stealthy J-20 Mighty Dragon, that underestimation might be premature. In a tightly coordinated U.S. air campaign with proper escort from F-15s, F-16s, or stealthy F-35s, the A-10 becomes a surgical instrument of destruction, and the skies over the South China Sea would become a theater of extremes. It wouldn't be a clean sweep for either side. China might flex air superiority, but the Warthog would leave a scar on the battlefield. The ultimate clash wouldn't be decided in air duels alone. It would hinge on how long the A-10s could survive and how much devastation they could unleash before they were forced back. And history has shown, counting the Warthog out too early has always been a mistake. In an era dominated by stealth fighters and AI-driven warfare, this rugged, titanium-armored beast still earns its place, not as a relic of the past, but as a relentless force in the present. The secrets are finally out after years of speculation and behind-the-scenes development. NASA has finally unveiled a radical new version of the legendary A-10 Warthog. The old warplane has been turned into a supersonic, low-noise fighter built for incredible speed, stealth, and sharp accuracy. It is faster, stronger, and harder to detect. It is unlike anything the world has seen before. With the eyes of Russia and China locked on every detail, it is clear that America has raised the stakes in modern aerial warfare. But what exactly makes this new aircraft so powerful? And how does it outperform its predecessors? Join us as we dive into NASA's stunning reveal and explore how this supersonic beast could reshape the future of combat aviation. The A-10, known as the Warthog, is a rugged, no-nonsense aircraft built for one job, which is to support troops on the ground. It was developed in the mid-1970s by Fairchild Republic for the United States Air Force, and what truly makes the A-10 special is its giant gun, a powerful 30mm cannon called the GAU-8 Avenger. This gun is so big that the plane was pretty much designed right around it. To keep the pilot safe during heavy fighting, their cockpit is covered by over 1,000 pounds of tough titanium armor. It's often described as being like a heavy, armored bathtub, built to protect the pilot even if the plane takes hits. The Warthog can also land and take off on short, bumpy dirt strips, which is really useful for missions close to where the soldiers are fighting. And because the plane is built in a fairly simple way, the mechanics can fix it quickly with basic tools. The A-10's main job is to help soldiers who are fighting on the ground. It is not built to chase or battle other jets high up in the sky like a traditional fighter plane. Instead, it flies lower and slower over the battlefield so the pilot can see what is happening on the ground and give direct support. For example, if enemy tanks are moving toward a group of soldiers, the A-10 can fly in low, carefully aim at the tanks, and destroy them before they reach the soldiers. Because it can stay in the air for a long time and move slowly, the pilot has enough time to spot enemy vehicles, groups of enemy soldiers, or hidden threats, and strike them accurately without accidentally harming friendly troops nearby. just like a skilled firefighter carefully putting out flames close to a crowd without spraying the people he's trying to protect. Although only the single-seat version, the A-10A, was mass-produced, there was an experimental two-seat model called the A-10B. In 2005, the Air Force began upgrading the A-10s with new digital systems under the A-10C program, allowing it to carry modern smart bombs and precision-guided weapons. The plan was to eventually replace the A-10 with the more advanced Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. However, many pilots and military experts argue that the A-10's unique role can't be easily replaced. While Congress allowed the Air Force to start retiring some Warthogs in 2023, they later hit pause on that plan, allowing the jet to continue in service. By the late 1980s, it was clear that the A-10 Thunderbolt II would remain an important part of the United States Air Force. In 1987, a company called Grumman Aerospace took over responsibility for maintaining the aircraft, and they quickly began working on plans to keep it strong and flying for many more years. However, things didn't go as planned because serious problems soon started to appear. Cracks were found in the planes, especially in a part of the wing known as WS-23, and these cracks showed that the aircraft structures were becoming tired and weak, a problem that had actually started all the way back during the early years of production. The situation became even worse in the early 1990s when the government decided to close or combine several military bases, which led to about 4 out of every 5 workers who repaired the A-10s losing their jobs. With so many experienced people gone, it became much harder to keep up with urgent maintenance, and many of the planes that needed quick repairs ended up waiting much longer than they should have, making the problem even bigger over time. To keep the A-10 Thunderbolt II flying, Grumman made a new plan in 1998 to help each aircraft last up to 16,000 flight hours. This plan started the Hog-Up program in 1999, which was a big project to fix and improve the planes. As time went on, the program got even bigger and included updates to the fuel system, the flight control systems, and the engine areas to make the A-10 stronger and more reliable. In 2001, engineers looked at the cracks in the wings again and said they were now critical, which meant they could skip the long approval steps and repair the planes faster. But by 2003, a new check showed that some of the old test results could not be trusted anymore, which made people worry even more. Soon after, one of the test wings broke during a trial, and more A-10s started failing their inspections. The United States Air Force then realized that if they did not act quickly, they could run out of safe wings for the planes by 2011. To fix the problem, the Air Force considered 3 options in 2005. 2 of the choices were very expensive plans to extend the life of the old wings, which would have cost over $4 billion and $3 billion. The other option was to build brand new wings, which was much cheaper at about $1.72 billion, so they decided to choose that instead. In 2006, Boeing got the contract to build the new wings, starting with 117 units and the option to make 125 more. By 2013, Boeing had orders for 173 wings, with options for 69 still available. In November 2011, 2 A-10s flew successfully with the new wings, marking a major milestone for the aircraft's future. The new wings did more than just fix the cracking problem. They made the A-10 more ready for missions, cheaper to maintain, and extended its possible service life all the way to 2035. This wing replacement project was called the Thick Skin Urgent Spares Kitting Program, or TUSK for short. Thanks to programs like Hog-Up and Tusk, the Warthog got a second life. In 2014, the United States Air Force wanted to stop using the A-10 Thunderbolt II to save money, and one idea they had was to cancel the project that was putting new wings on the planes, which they believed would save about $500 million. However, by the middle of 2015, the project had already gone too far, and they had spent too much money, so it was no longer a good idea to cancel it. Between 2005 and 2011, the military upgraded every single A-10 and A-10 in the fleet, which was more than 350 planes, through a project called the Precision Engagement Program, and the changes were so big that they gave the aircraft a new name, the A-10C. These upgrades allowed the jet to fight in any kind of weather, use smart bombs more accurately, and protect itself better with new electronic defenses. Pilots also got 2 digital screens and a modern cockpit that combine the best controls from famous fighter jets like the F-15 and F-16, making it feel similar to upgrading from an old mobile phone to a brand new smartphone. To give the A-10 even more time over the battlefield, the Air Force tested a large 600-gallon external fuel tank that could extend flight time by nearly an hour. Although tests back in 1997 had tried this, it wasn't until 2012 that proper evaluation began. More than 30 flights were run to see how the fuel tank would affect flight control. The result? It made the aircraft slightly less stable when turning left or right, but it didn't hurt accuracy or handling. One of the big reasons the Warthog is so special is because of its unique wing design, which uses a cantilever low-wing monoplane structure with wide, straight wings that help it stay stable and easy to control, even at low speeds and low heights. Thanks to its large wings, tall shape, and big control flaps called ailerons, the A-10 can take off and land on very short runways, making it perfect for flying from rough, simple airfields close to the fighting, like landing a strong off-road truck in a muddy field instead of needing a smooth road. While most fighter jets fly too fast to easily hit small moving targets on the ground, the A-10 flies at about 300 knots, which is roughly 350 miles per hour, making it slow enough to spot and attack enemy vehicles or soldiers carefully. It can also fly under 1,000 feet in bad weather or low visibility and stay over a battlefield for a long time to give ground troops steady support. The A-10's wing construction is also very special because the front part of the wings is built with a honeycomb structure, which makes them strong without making them too heavy, similar to how a honeycomb in a beehive is strong but still very light. This smart building technique is also used in other parts of the aircraft, like the elevators, rudders, and parts of the tail. The outside skin of the wing is made by computer-guided machines and is joined directly with the support beams underneath, which helps to save both time and money during production. One big advantage of this design is that if the outside layer gets damaged during a mission, it can be patched up quickly and easily, even out in the field using simple tools and materials. The A-10 also has very large ailerons, which are the parts on the wings that help the plane turn or roll from side to side, and these ailerons stretch across almost half the length of the wings. They are also split into 2 sections, creating something called deceleronds, which can open up in the air to slow the aircraft down during flight, giving pilots even more control when they need to adjust speed or prepare for landing. The A-10's famous gun placement is quite unique. The massive 30mm cannon sits right down the center line of the aircraft. To make this work, engineers had to move the front wheel slightly to the right side. This offset design has a practical effect when the pilot is driving the plane on the ground. It turns more sharply to the right than to the left. It's similar to a shopping cart with a wobbly wheel that pulls to one side. The landing gear design is also equally clever. When the wheels fold up during flight, they don't completely hide inside the plane. Parts of the tires still stick out. This is not a mistake or a design flaw. Think of it like wearing elbow pads. If the plane has to make an emergency belly landing, these partially exposed tires act as skids that help the aircraft slide more smoothly. Another priority for the design is safety. If the hydraulic systems fail, the systems that normally control the wheels, gravity, and air pressure can still push the landing gear down. This is similar to emergency systems in buildings where doors are designed to unlock automatically during power failures. When it comes to taking damage, the Warthog is in a class of its own. It can take direct hits from armor-piercing and explosive shells up to 23mm in size. If its hydraulic systems go down, it doesn't crash. It switches to a backup system called manual reversion. This lets the pilot steer using mechanical controls. Though harder to handle, it still works well enough to get the aircraft back home. The pilot is protected by titanium, a heavy shell weighing around 1,200 pounds or about 540 kilograms. This armor wraps around the cockpit and vital flight systems, shielding them from direct cannon fire and shrapnel from larger blasts. It's made from titanium plates between 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches thick, carefully shaped to reflect enemy fire. Inside the tub, the walls facing the pilot are covered with layers of nylon to stop sharp fragments from getting through. Even the windscreen and canopy are bullet-resistant, giving the pilot the best chance of surviving intense ground fire. One of the most powerful examples of the Warthog's toughness happened during the Iraq War in 2003. Captain Kim Campbell was flying over Baghdad when her aircraft was badly hit by enemy fire. One engine went out and the hydraulic system failed, forcing her to rely entirely on the manual controls. Despite the damage, she kept the jet stable and flew it for nearly an hour before landing safely back at base. The A-10 Thunderbolt II was built to handle rough and difficult conditions because, unlike many other jets that need smooth, paved runways, the A-10 can take off from simple forward air bases or makeshift landing strips where rocks, dirt, and debris can be a big danger to engines. To solve this problem, engineers mounted the General Electric TF-34 turbofan engines high up on the back part of the aircraft, far from the ground, which helps protect them from sucking in dangerous debris. This smart placement also lets the engines keep running while the aircraft is being rearmed or repaired, which means the A-10 can get back in the air much faster without wasting time. Its low-mounted wings make it easier for ground crews to quickly load weapons, refuel, and check the plane, even when working with basic equipment in tough environments. Similar to how a delivery truck with a low cargo bed can be loaded faster and easier compared to a truck that sits too high off the ground. Each engine is bolted to the airframe with 4 strong connectors, showing how much weight and stress the aircraft structure can handle. The engines also feature a high bypass ratio, about 6:1, which means more air is pushed around the engine core than through it. This design gives the A-10 a quieter and cooler engine signature, making it harder for enemy infrared-guided missiles to lock on. The engine exhaust is directed over the horizontal stabilizers at the tail, further reducing heat visibility and helping the A-10 stay undetected longer in hostile environments. Fuel safety is another major part of the A-10's design. All 4 of its main fuel tanks are placed near the center of the aircraft, away from the outer edges. This setup means that enemy bullets or shrapnel would have to pass through the body of the plane before they could even reach a tank. The fuel lines are also self-sealing. If one is hit, it can plug itself up to stop fuel from leaking. And if a fuel tank is too damaged to seal, the system uses check valves to keep the fuel from draining into the broken tank. Most parts of the fuel system are located inside the tanks themselves, so even if something breaks, it won't cause a major fuel loss. To make the system even safer, the fuel tanks are lined with a special polyurethane foam. This foam absorbs debris and stops fuel from spilling out in case of damage. The engines are also protected from the rest of the aircraft by built-in firewalls and extinguishers. And in the worst-case scenario, if all 4 main tanks are knocked out, the A-10 still has 2 small backup tanks with enough fuel to fly up to 230 miles. At the heart of the A-10 Thunderbolt II is its most famous feature, a monster of a weapon called the GAU-8 Avenger. This 7-barrel rotary cannon fires large shells and was built specifically to destroy tanks. It's one of the most powerful aircraft guns ever flown. Early versions of the gun let the pilot choose between firing 2,100 or 4,200 rounds per minute. Today, it fires at a fixed rate of about 3,900 rounds per minute. To put that into perspective, in the first second alone, the gun fires 50 armor-piercing shells and then keeps going at around 65 to 70 per second. The A-10's entire design revolves around this gun. It's mounted slightly to the left inside the fuselage, but the firing barrel sits on the right so that the bullets shoot straight down the center of the plane. The gun's ammunition drum is nearly 6 feet long and holds over 1,300 rounds, though most missions use about 1,174. To protect the ammo from being hit in combat, layers of armor are built between the aircraft skin and the drum. This design can even cause incoming shells to explode before they get too close. Another example of the A-10's battle-hardened engineering. The aircraft doesn't just attack, it protects itself too. Most A-10s carry an ALQ-131 device under one wing that blocks enemy radar and confuses missiles. For defense against enemy planes, they have 2 AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles under the other wing. The A-10 brings many weapons to battle, made not just to destroy but to last. With strong firepower and a design for real combat, the A-10 remains the best choice for supporting ground troops, even many years after it was first built. While the A-10 Warthog has long been called unstoppable and irreplaceable, many believed its finest days were behind it. Yet the legendary jet has returned with upgrades that unlock a truly mind-blowing capability. From fresh technology to battlefield refinements, these changes are making the Warthog more remarkable than ever before. But as the military landscape begins to shift, one question remains. Will this upgraded beast continue to rule the skies? Or is its reign finally nearing the end? Join us as we explore the mind-blowing capabilities of the US A-10 Super Warthog. The A-10 Thunderbolt II, more famously known as the Warthog, is a living legend of modern combat aviation. Originally designed in the Cold War era to counter massive Soviet armored divisions in Europe, it has proven itself again and again as one of the most dependable and lethal close air support aircraft ever built. Its continued service in the skies for more than 4 decades is proof of its unmatched effectiveness, rugged design, and the emotional bond it has forged with the ground troops who rely on its protection. To understand the Warthog's uniqueness, it is necessary to examine its mission profile. Unlike high-speed air superiority fighters, the A-10 is not designed to win dogfights or operate invisibly with stealth technology, nor is it built to engage enemies from beyond visual range. Instead, its mission is raw and unforgiving, to fly low and slow above the battlefield, locate enemy targets with extreme precision, and destroy them, especially heavily armored vehicles. It is, quite literally, a flying tank killer. Its journey began in the 1960s, a time when Cold War tensions were high and military strategists recognized the serious threat posed by massive Soviet armored divisions. They needed a dedicated aircraft that could neutralize tanks and ground forces with precision, something more specialized than the fast-moving fighter jets of the era. The Vietnam War further highlighted the importance of reliable and sustained close air support. Ground forces often depended on air power to hold their positions or break enemy advances, and this reinforced the necessity of designing an aircraft focused entirely on ground attack missions. In 1972, the Fairchild Republic Company won the contract to produce this new platform, and by 1977, the A-10 officially entered service with the United States Air Force. Unlike traditional jets built primarily for dogfighting or long-range interception, the Warthog was conceived from the ground up as a flying weapon against armored vehicles in fortified positions. The most iconic element of the Warthog is undoubtedly the GAU-8 Avenger, a colossal 30mm rotary cannon capable of unleashing nearly 4,000 rounds every minute. This devastating weapon is so large and powerful that the entire airframe was designed around it. Its tungsten and depleted uranium shells can shred tanks, convoys, and entrenched defenses, making the aircraft a nightmare for enemy ground forces. The sound of the Avenger firing has become legendary, both feared by opponents and welcomed by Allied troops. Equally important is the aircraft's rugged construction. The A-10 is famous for its survivability in hostile environments. The cockpit is enclosed in a titanium bathtub that protects the pilot from shrapnel and small arms fire. Systems are built with redundancy, ensuring that even if hydraulics fail, the aircraft can still be controlled. The engines are mounted high above the fuselage and widely spaced apart, reducing vulnerability to heat-seeking missiles and making maintenance easier in rough field conditions. Astonishingly, the Warthog has demonstrated the ability to remain operational after losing an engine, sustaining severe damage, or even missing part of a wing. This resilience allows it to linger above combat zones longer than most aircraft, supporting ground forces when they need it most. The A-10 is also a powerhouse in terms of firepower. It can carry more than 16,000 pounds of ordnance, ranging from laser-guided bombs and AGM-65 Maverick missiles to Hydra-70 rockets and, more recently, precision weapons like the GBU-39 small-diameter bomb. This wide selection enables it to adapt to multiple mission sets, from busting tanks to striking insurgent hideouts. Equipped with advanced targeting pods such as the Sniper XR, the Warthog is fully capable of conducting nighttime operations and functioning effectively even in poor weather conditions. To fully grasp the A-10's legacy, it is worth considering its predecessor, the Douglas A-1 Sky Raider. This piston-powered single-seat attack aircraft made its mark during the Korean and Vietnam Wars, by delivering heavy ordnance while absorbing punishment that would have downed other planes. The Warthog carries that same spirit forward, but adds modern armor, jet power, and devastating weaponry. The Douglas A-1 Sky Raider earned legendary status for its ability to carry massive bomb loads and remain over battlefields for extended periods, often longer than its jet-powered contemporaries. Ground troops admired it for its durability, accuracy, and sheer persistence in combat. This legacy of survivability, endurance, and firepower found new life in the A-10 Thunderbolt II. Unlike its piston-powered predecessor, the Warthog added titanium armor and turbofan engines, combining rugged design with modern technology to create the ultimate close-air support aircraft. One of the primary reasons the A-10 holds such a special place in military history is its close relationship with ground forces. During operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, where troops frequently fought insurgents in brutal firefights, the sight of the Warthog's distinctive silhouette overhead was an instant morale boost. Pilots often executed show of force passes at treetop level, scattering enemy fighters before even pulling the trigger. Soldiers vividly recall the deep reverberating roar of the GAU-8 Avenger cannon as it pounded enemy positions. Many have said that when they felt the ground shake from those thunderous bursts, they knew they were no longer alone. The Warthog had arrived to protect them. Beyond its survivability, the A-10 boasts remarkable operational flexibility. Unlike many advanced jets that require long and well-maintained runways, the Warthog can operate from short, improvised airstrips close to the front lines. This allows it to deliver close-air support where it is needed most, often in austere or remote environments. Combined with its long loiter time over battlefields, the aircraft provides ground troops with a dependable guardian overhead. From the moment it entered service, the Warthog has been tested repeatedly in real combat. During the Gulf War of 1991, it played a decisive role in Operation Desert Storm, destroying thousands of Iraqi tanks, artillery pieces, and supply convoys. Its ability to loiter over the battlefield and deliver precise, punishing fire was instrumental in the overwhelming success of coalition forces. In the years that followed, the aircraft continued to prove its worth. In both Afghanistan and Iraq, it became the go-to close-air support platform for American and Allied troops. The Warthog's ability to deliver accurate strikes in rugged terrain and urban environments made it indispensable. Troops on the ground frequently described it as a flying tank, a nickname earned through countless missions where the aircraft returned home riddled with bullet holes, yet still operational. Its record extends beyond large-scale wars. In more recent conflicts, such as operations against ISIS in Syria and Iraq, the A-10 once again demonstrated its versatility. From hunting armored targets to providing overwatch for special operations forces, the Warthog adapted seamlessly to changing mission requirements. Each deployment has reinforced its reputation as an irreplaceable asset, blending raw firepower, durability, and unmatched support for those fighting on the ground. Yet despite proving itself time and again on the battlefield, the Warthog's survival hasn't been guaranteed. The Air Force has tried several times to retire the A-10, but strong backing from Congress has kept it flying, with expectations that it will remain in service well into the 20s. To keep it formidable despite its age, the A-10 has undergone continuous modernization to remain combat effective. In the early 2000s, the Precision Engagement Modernization Program introduced new avionics, GPS-guided weapon capabilities, and improved cockpit displays. These upgrades led to the creation of the A-10 Charlie, which became the fleet's standard. This version featured hands-on throttle and stick controls, multifunction displays, data link capabilities, and compatibility with Joint Direct Attack munitions and other smart weapons. These changes effectively transformed the Warthog into a 21st-century combat platform, one that could seamlessly integrate into modern joint operations while maintaining its unique ability to deliver precise and devastating close-air support. More recent modernization efforts have ensured that the A-10 remains viable well into the future. The Common Fleet Initiative replaced aging wings across a significant portion of the fleet, extending each aircraft's service life by at least 10,000 flight hours. Alongside these structural improvements, software upgrades, communications enhancements, and advanced sensor packages have enabled the Warthog to operate in digitally networked battlefields, coordinating more effectively with both air and ground forces. The A-10 Thunderbolt II variant is also one of the most unique and reliable aircraft in the world. Designed with the needs of soldiers on the ground in mind, it combines toughness, accuracy, and flexibility like no other plane. It was not built for speed or beauty, it was built to protect, and in that mission, it excels brilliantly. One of the A-10C's greatest strengths is its ability to maneuver at low speeds and low altitudes. While many modern jets rely on flying high and fast, the Warthog is at home close to the ground, where it can deliver accurate strikes exactly where they are needed. It can linger over a battlefield for long stretches of time, circling patiently until troops below call for support. This endurance makes it a constant guardian in the sky. The Warthog is also capable of operating under challenging conditions. It can land and take off from rough or austere runways, bringing its power close to the front lines where other jets might not dare to go. It can function under ceilings as low as 1,000 feet, with visibility as short as 1.5 miles. Whether the skies are clear, cloudy, or stormy, the A-10C can still carry out its missions. Its ability to employ both precision-guided and unguided weapons in nearly any weather condition gives it an edge over many other aircraft. At night, the A-10C does not lose its sharpness. Equipped with night vision goggles and advanced imaging systems, pilots can strike targets even in total darkness. The single-seat cockpit, placed forward of the wings, is designed for maximum visibility. Its large bubble canopy gives the pilot a clear, all-around view of the battlefield. Added to this is the helmet-mounted cueing system, which lets pilots point their weapons simply by looking at a target, an incredible advantage in fast-changing combat situations. But the most famous feature of the A-10C is its toughness. The aircraft is practically wrapped in armor. The pilot sits in a titanium bathtub, a shell that can withstand direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive rounds up to 23 millimeters. Even the flight control systems are partially shielded, ensuring that the plane can keep flying after taking damage that would down most other jets. The Warthog is built with survival in mind. Its fuel cells are self-sealing and protected by both internal and external foam, reducing the risk of fire or explosion. Its redundant hydraulic systems mean that if one fails, another can take over. And if all hydraulics are lost, manual backup systems allow the pilot to continue flying and even land safely. This makes the A-10C one of the most resilient combat aircraft ever created. Still, the aircraft has faced repeated attempts at retirement. Critics argue that the Warthog is too slow to survive in highly contested airspace, where advanced surface-to-air missiles and next-generation fighters dominate. Some within the Air Force contend that multi-role platforms like the F-35 Lightning II, with its stealth and precision strike capabilities, can absorb the A-10's mission while offering far greater flexibility. Yet, despite these arguments, the Warthog has consistently outlasted retirement efforts. This survival is due to a combination of undeniable battlefield performance, strong political support from Congress, and the unwavering loyalty of the ground troops it protects. Few other aircraft inspire the same trust and admiration from those who depend on close air support under fire. When viewed in comparison to modern international equivalents, the A-10's uniqueness becomes even clearer. While other nations field capable strike aircraft, few maintain a platform so singularly focused on close air support. Many jets can drop precision munitions, but few can absorb punishment, loiter for hours, and deliver devastating low-altitude firepower with the same reliability as the Warthog. It remains to this day one of the most iconic and effective instruments of battlefield support. The Warthog's journey from its Sky Raider-inspired origins to its present-day role as a modernized, digitally integrated attack aircraft underscores a fundamental truth. Technology evolves, but the need for reliable, precise, and survivable close-air support endures. For the soldiers on the ground, there is still no greater reassurance than the sound of the Avenger cannon and the unmistakable sight of the A-10 circling above. The Chinese Q-5 Fan-Tan, now long retired, was one of the few aircraft that shared the same design philosophy as the American A-10 Thunderbolt II. Built specifically for ground attack missions, the Q-5 offered some capability in the close support role, but lack the survivability, armor, and sheer firepower of the Warthog. While it could carry bombs and rockets, it was never engineered to withstand the kind of punishment that an A-10 routinely absorbs in battle, nor did it feature a weapon comparable to the GAU-8 Avenger cannon. South Korea today operates the F-A-50, a lightweight combat jet derived from the T-50 trainer. The F-A-50 is faster and more modern than the A-10, with advanced avionics and the ability to perform a variety of missions. Yet it falls short in the most critical areas of close air support. It lacks the loiter time that allows a Warthog to remain over a battlefield for hours, patiently watching and waiting to strike. It also does not possess the titanium armor protection that shields A-10 pilots from heavy ground fire. European nations have employed aircraft such as the Tornado YDS or the Italian-built M346FA in light strike roles. These jets are competent in multi-role missions, capable of carrying precision-guided bombs and operating in different combat scenarios. However, like the F-A-50, they are not purpose-built for close support. Their speed design and mission profiles simply do not allow them to replace the Warthog's unique ability to fly low and slow, visually identify targets, and deliver firepower with surgical precision. In short, no Western aircraft currently in service fully matches the A-10. It remains in a class entirely of its own. What is particularly noteworthy is the reliance of the U.S. Army and Marine Corps on the A-10, despite the fact that neither branch operates fixed-wing, close-air support aircraft of their own. In countless joint operations, soldiers and Marines have repeatedly emphasized their preference for the Warthog over faster jets like the F-16 or the F-35. For troops on the ground, what matters most is immediate, accurate firepower delivered exactly where and when it is needed. The A-10, with its ability to circle the battlefield, fly low enough to see the fight unfold, and place rounds with pinpoint accuracy, even in dense urban environments, has earned an unparalleled level of trust. Looking to the future, the Air Force has wrestled with the question of what could eventually replace the A-10. At one point, the OAX program examined the possibility of using a lightweight, inexpensive turboprop aircraft for low-intensity conflicts. These aircraft showed promise for counterinsurgency missions, but none could replicate the A-10's unique mix of firepower, armor, and endurance. The F-35, though vastly more advanced in stealth, sensors, and overall versatility, does not offer the ruggedness or battlefield persistence of the Warthog. For close support, loitering overhead for hours while shrugging off ground fire, the Lightning II simply cannot fill the same role. Some defense analysts have suggested that the only genuine replacement would need to be a clean sheet design, an entirely new aircraft engineered specifically for close air support in the same spirit as the A-10. Yet as of now, no such program is underway. In the meantime, the Air Force has continued to invest in upgrades for the A-10 fleet. The latest block of improvements, emerging in the middle of the 20s, has focused on enhancing target acquisition and weapon integration. Pilots now can employ newer smart weapons, such as the GBU-54 laser-guided JDAM, giving them greater flexibility and precision. The Warthog can also share targeting data with unmanned aerial vehicles, integrating seamlessly into modern networked battlefields. Some experimental configurations have even explored equipping the A-10 with short-range air-to-air missiles like the AIM-9X, giving it a measure of self-defense capability against aerial threats. One remarkable feature that has been introduced over the years is the advanced helmet-mounted cueing system. With this technology, pilots can lock onto and track targets simply by moving their heads, allowing them to respond much faster in fast-changing situations. When this is paired with modern night vision capabilities and synthetic aperture radar, the aircraft's effectiveness on the battlefield is greatly extended, keeping it relevant in modern warfare. That lasting bond between the Warthog and those it protects isn't confined to combat zones. It also lives on in public displays that remind people why the jet is so revered. At the Wings Over Camarillo Air Show, aviation fans and history buffs were treated to a rare spectacle, the mighty A-10 Warthog in action. In 2024, spectators watched in awe as the aircraft thundered through the skies, showing off its battlefield dominance and raw power. The demonstrations included simulated close air support, where the Warthog highlighted its precision strikes and firepower. This airshow has long been celebrated for combining aviation history with advanced aerospace displays and heart-pounding aerial performances. The inclusion of the A-10 proved once again why it's regarded as a legend, a machine that continues to leave an unforgettable mark on modern warfare. For those who missed it in 2024, the Wings over Camarillo Airshow will return in 2025 with another breathtaking lineup. Visitors can expect to see historic warbirds, cutting-edge technology, and jaw-dropping aerial displays. Alongside thrilling performances, guests will have the chance to meet aviation experts, explore exciting STEM exhibits, and get up close with legendary military aircraft. The new Super Warthog has been spotted in Iran. This fourth-generation fighter jet, renowned for its survivability, doggedness, firepower, and ability to lay waste to attack tanks, just got an upgrade that has made it even more feared by Iran's leaders. These mind-blowing upgrades have equipped the Warthog with the ability to withstand advanced threats, preparing it for battle. The airfighter has withstood the test of time, and with these new capabilities, the A-10 is definitely here to stay. What are the new capabilities of this improved fighter jet? Do these upgrades make it formidable against Iran's threats? Join us as we explore the features of the all-new Black Snake A-10 Warthog that was spotted in Iran. The A-10 Thunderbolt, also known as the Warthog, is a single-seat and twin-engine attack aircraft that is specifically designed to support ground troops by attacking enemy tanks and vehicles. This fighter jet is the only U.S. Air Force aircraft built solely for close air support and is renowned for excelling at what it does. This aircraft can also perform a role known as Forward Air Controller Airborne, which is to guide other aircraft in attacking ground targets. And in this role, it is called the A-10. Unlike other fighters, the Warthog was created to be tougher and even more powerful than the Douglas A-1 Skyraider. Its design includes a strong 30mm GAU-8 Avenger gun and 1,200 pounds of titanium armor that helps to protect the pilot and key parts, allowing it to withstand damage and keep flying. But that's not all. The A-10 can take off and land on short or rough runways, and just as you know, not just any fighter jet can perform this function without getting damaged. This feature makes the fighter useful in battle zones because it is rugged and designed for harsh conditions. Also, its simple design makes it easy to maintain with minimal facilities. It's no wonder the Warthog has seen action in many major conflicts like the Gulf War, the Balkans, Afghanistan, the Iraq War, and against ISIS in the Middle East. If this airfighter is as unique as it is without an upgrade, picture how formidable it is now with the recent upgrades. Simply incredible. Before we get into the recent upgrades on the Warthog, let's check out the main version and the designs. The A-10A is the main version, although one prototype with 2 seats was made to test night missions. In 2005, the remaining A-10As were upgraded to the A-10C version, which has modern avionics and can use precision weapons. Despite the uniqueness of the Warthog, the United States Air Force had planned to replace the A-10 with the F-35 Lightning II, but this decision is still seriously debated. However, they came to a conclusion and the Congress allowed the Air Force to start retiring a few A-10s in 2023, but any further retirements are on hold until the Air Force can prove that the F-35 can replace the A-10's close air support role. And well, they are still in the process of finding proofs. What led to the creation of the strong fighter jet, and why is the Congress reluctant to retire them? Here is why. After the Second World War, the development of attack aircraft in the U.S. slowed down, and efforts and resources were focused on the development of very fast fighters that are designed to carry nuclear weapons, like the McDonnell F-101 Voodoo and Republic F-105 Thunderchief. However, this decision had its repercussions because when the United States entered the Vietnam War, the main ground attack aircraft was the older Douglas A-1 Skyraider. While effective for its time, the A-1 was slow and vulnerable to ground fire, and this led to the loss of over 266 A-1s in Vietnam. But that wasn't the only downside. The A-1 also lacked sufficient firepower, making it even more vulnerable to attacks. Of course, the situation led to requests for a specialized attack aircraft that would be more effective against advanced threats and perform way better than the A-1. On June 7, 1961, Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara directed the USAF to develop two tactical aircraft, one for long-range strike and interdiction, and the other for fighter-bomber missions. The first was the Tactical Fighter Experimental, which became the General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark, while the second was filled by the Navy's McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. Although the Phantom was a successful fighter bomber, it had a short loiter time and poor low-speed performance. It was also costly, with a flyaway price of $2 million in 1965 and operating costs of over $900 per hour. The USAF decided to adopt a low-cost aircraft to supplement the F-4 and F-111. Initially, they considered the Northrop F-5, which had air-to-air capabilities. However, a 1964 study shifted the focus to the cheaper A-7D variant of the LTV A-7 Corsair II, leading to a contract. But the cost of the A-7D doubled due to demands for a better engine and new avionics. During this time, the United States Army started using the Bell UH-1 Iroquois helicopter. Originally a transport aircraft, it was later modified to carry more machine guns, creating the helicopter gunship role. This was effective against lightly armed enemies, and new gun and rocket pods were added. The Bell AH-1 Cobra, an attack helicopter with long-range tow missiles capable of destroying tanks from a safe distance, was then introduced. The Cobra was so effective that the U.S. military changed its European defense strategy to use anti-tank helicopters instead of relying on tactical nuclear weapons. The Cobra was a quick adaptation of the UH-1, introduced in the mid-1960s as a temporary solution until the Army's Advanced Aerial Fire Support System was ready. The Army chose the Lockheed AH-56 Cheyenne, a faster attack aircraft, for initial production. The development of these anti-tank helicopters worried the USAF. A 1966 study showed gaps in their close air support capabilities, which the Cheyenne could fill. The study recommended developing a simple, inexpensive, dedicated COAS aircraft that was at least as capable as the A-1 Skyraider, along with new tactics and procedures for using it. On September 8, 1966, General John P. McConnell, the USAF Chief of Staff, ordered the design, development, and acquisition of a specialized CAS aircraft. On December 22, a directive was issued for the AX-CAS aircraft, and the AX Program Office was established. On March 6, 1967, the USAF asked 21 defense contractors for information about the AX. Again, 3 years later, the United States Air Force issued a more detailed request for proposals, and this time with more desperation, because the threat from Soviet armored forces and the need for all-weather attack operations had grown uncontrollably. They also had new requirements for the aircraft, which includes a design for a 30mm rotary cannon, a maximum speed of 460 miles per hour, a takeoff distance of 4,000 feet, an external load of 16,000 pounds, a 285-mile mission radius, and a unit cost of $1.4 million. A separate request was also issued for the 30mm cannon, requiring a high rate of fire and muzzle velocity. As a response to USAF requests, 6 companies submitted their proposals. However, only Northrop and Fairchild Republic were chosen to build prototypes, the YA-9A and YA-10A. General Electric and Philco Ford were selected to build and test the GAU-8 cannon prototypes. 2 YA-10 prototypes were built and first flown on May 10, 1972. After trials and a fly-off against the YA-9, the YA-10 was selected for production on January 18, 1973. General Electric was chosen to build the GAU-8 cannon in June 1973. The YA-10 had another fly-off in 1974 against the LTV A-7D Corsair II to justify the need for a new attack aircraft. The first production A-10 flew in October 1975, with deliveries starting in March 1976. An experimental 2-seat A-10 night adverse weather version was built, but it did not interest the USAF or export customers. The USAF ordered a 2-seat trainer version in 1981, but funding was canceled. The only 2-seat A-10 is now at the Edwards Air Force Base Flight Test Center Museum, and on February 10, 1976, Full-rate production of the A-10 was authorized, and the first A-10 was accepted by the USAF Tactical Air Command on March 30, 1976. Production peaked at 13 aircraft per month, and by 1984, 715 planes had been delivered. The A-10's planned service life was 6,000 hours, but early fatigue testing led to reinforcements and an increased target of 8,000 hours. Issues with wing structure fatigue were addressed with several production changes, including thicker skins and cold working at critical points. The A-10 has a low-wing design with wide wings that give it excellent maneuverability at low speeds and altitudes. Its large wing area and ailerons allow for short takeoffs and landings from simple airfields near the front lines. The A-10 can fly slowly and stay in the air for long periods, making it effective for ground attacks as it can better target small, slow-moving objects than faster fighter bombers. The leading edge of the wing is built with lightweight, strong honeycomb panels, which also cover other parts like the flaps, elevators, rudders, and fins. These panels are tough and easy to replace even in the field. The ailerons located at the wingtips are large and split, acting as decelerons to enhance control at slow speeds. The A-10 is designed to be serviced and refueled with minimal equipment, even at basic forward bases. Its parts, such as engines and landing gear, are interchangeable between the left and right sides. The strong landing gear and low-pressure tires enable it to operate from rough, short strips, including damaged air bases or roads. The front landing gear is offset to the right to make room for the 30mm cannon, which is aligned with the aircraft's center line. This offset causes the A-10 to turn more easily to the right on the ground. The main landing gear partially sticks out when retracted, making belly landings easier and less damaging. The landing gear retracts forward, and if hydraulic power is lost, it can still lower and lock in place using gravity and air resistance. The A-10 is built to withstand heavy battle damage, capable of surviving direct hits from armor-piercing and high-explosive rounds up to 23mm. It has double redundant hydraulic flight systems and a backup manual system in case the hydraulics fail. This backup system allows the pilot to control the plane and return to base, although the controls require more effort to operate. The A-10 can still fly with one engine, half a tail, one elevator, and part of a wing missing. It is equipped with flares and chaff to defend against missiles and enemy aircraft. The cockpit and flight control systems are protected by 1,200 pounds of titanium armor known as the bathtub, which can withstand 23mm cannon fire and some hits from 57mm shells. The armor is made from titanium plates of varying thickness and includes a nylon spall shield to protect the pilot from fragments. The front windscreen and canopy are resistant to small arms fire. This durability was demonstrated when Captain Kim Campbell safely flew her heavily damaged A-10 back to base using manual controls during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. The A-10's engines are placed high on the aircraft to reduce the risk of damage from debris on rough airfields and allow for quick servicing and rearming. The engines produce a low infrared signature, making it harder for heat-seeking missiles to detect them. The fuel tanks are located near the center of the aircraft, protected by self-sealing mechanisms and polyurethane foam to minimize fuel loss and fire risk in case of damage. Even if the main tanks are compromised, the A-10 can still fly 230 miles using its self-sealing sump tanks. The main weapon of the A-10 is the powerful 30mm GAU-8A Avenger autocannon. This 7-barrel gun is made for destroying tanks and can fire up to 3,900 armor-piercing rounds per minute. It takes half a second to reach full speed, firing 50 rounds in the first second and 65 to 70 rounds per second afterward. It's very accurate, able to hit within a 40-foot circle from 4,000 feet away. The jet's body is built around this cannon. The gun is slightly to the left, but the firing barrel is aligned with the jet's center. The ammo drum can hold up to 1,350 rounds, but usually carries 1,174 rounds. The rounds are protected by armor plates that can explode incoming shells. It also uses the AGM-65 Maverick missile, which can hit targets from a longer distance than the cannon, reducing the risk from anti-aircraft defenses. Other weapons include cluster bombs and Hydra 70 rocket pods. The airfighter can carry GPS and laser-guided bombs, and usually has an electronic countermeasures pod and 2 Sidewinder missiles for self-defense. The A-10 is painted with different camouflage to make it harder to see when flying low. Various paint schemes have been tested, including a peanut scheme and winter colors. The most common was the European woodland camouflage with green and gray for forest environments. After the Gulf War, a gray compass ghost scheme was used to counter ground threats. Some A-10Ss have a false canopy painted underneath to confuse enemies, and many feature nose art like shark mouths or warthog heads. Since entering service, the A-10 has received many upgrades, and the most recent upgrades would be revealed later in the video. In 1978, it got the Pave Penny laser receiver pod for laser-guided munitions. In 1980, it received an inertial navigation system. In the early 1990s, it received the last TE upgrade for computerized weapon aiming, an autopilot, and a ground collision warning system. In 1999, it received GPS navigation systems and a multifunction display. Further upgrades included improved search and rescue systems, early warning, and anti-jam self-protection systems. The USAF also replaced the A-10S engines with more powerful ones. In 1987, Grumman Aerospace took over A-10 support, updating its maintenance plans. By the mid-1990s, issues with wing fatigue became prominent. Inspections found cracks, leading to the Hog Up program in 1999 to extend the aircraft's life. However, more serious issues were discovered, and a new plan to replace the wings was adopted in 2006, with Boeing contracted to build 242 new wings. The re-winging program improved mission readiness and reduced maintenance costs, allowing the A-10 to operate until at least 2035. In 2014, plans to retire the A-10 led to considerations of halting the wing replacement program. However, by 2015, the program was too advanced to cancel. Boeing stated in 2016 that the A-10 could operate until 2040 with the new wings. From 2005 to June 2011, the entire fleet of 356 A-10 and A-10 aircraft was upgraded and redesignated as A-10C under the Precision Engagement Program. These massive upgrades included all-weather combat capability, an improved fire control system, electronic countermeasures, smart bomb targeting, and a modern communications suite with Link 16 radio and satellite communications. The cockpits were also upgraded with 2 multifunction displays and a HOTAS configuration, combining elements from the F-16 and F-15 controls. The Government Accountability Office estimated the cost of these upgrades and service life extensions to be $2.25 billion through 2013. In July 2010, Raytheon was contracted to integrate a helmet-mounted integrated targeting system into the A-10C. The last TE system was replaced with the integrated flight and fire control computer as part of the Precision Engagement upgrade. Throughout its life, the A-10 has received multiple software upgrades. Although plans to retire the A-10 in February 2014 initially halted some of these upgrades, the Secretary of the Air Force, Deborah Lee James, ordered that the latest upgrade, Suite 8, continue due to congressional pressure. The Suite 8 includes IFF Mode 5, which enhances the A-10's ability to identify itself to friendly units. Additionally, the Pave Penny pods and pylons were removed and replaced by AN/AAQ-284. Lightning at or Sniper XR targeting pods, which have laser designators and laser rangefinders. In 2012, Air Combat Command requested testing of a 600-gallon external fuel tank to extend the A-10's loitering time by 45 to 60 minutes. Over 30 flight tests were conducted to gather data on the aircraft's handling and performance with different load configurations. It was found that the tank slightly reduced stability in the yaw axis, but did not decrease the aircraft's tracking performance. Now to the most recent development. It's interesting to note that the upgrades didn't end with the Suite C, because just this year, the Warthog has received several upgrades to remain effective in future wars and against advanced threats. The recent upgrades for the A-10C include better avionics, improved weapon systems, and enhanced survivability. These changes aim to keep the A-10C capable in the face of advanced electronic and cyber warfare threats expected in future conflicts. A significant part of the upgrade is the addition of new weapon systems, including advanced precision-guided bombs and updated targeting pods, which will improve the A-10C's accuracy in hitting moving targets. These enhancements will help the A-10C support ground forces more effectively in challenging and contested environments. But that's not all. The avionics and communication systems are being overhauled to improve interoperability with other U.S. and allied forces. This includes the implementation of modern data links and communication networks, enabling the Warthog to share real-time battlefield information with ground troops and other assets in the theater of operations. Given the A-10C's job of providing close air support, improving its ability to survive in battle is very important. The aircraft is getting better armor and defensive systems to protect against enemy anti-aircraft weapons. These upgrades will help the A-10C stay effective in dangerous environments, continuing to support ground troops. These upgrades have been interpreted as part of a bigger plan to keep the A-10C fleet in service for many more years, despite the initial plan to retire it. Aside the physical improvements to the aircraft, the A-10C program is also focusing on advanced training and simulation for pilots. These systems are designed to prepare pilots for the challenges of modern warfare, including operating in contested airspaces and coordinating with other air and ground units. The goal is to keep A-10C crews highly ready and effective. This means that the upgraded A-10C Thunderbolt 2 will continue being operational and would be deployed around the world, supporting U.S. and allied operations wherever needed. Its ability to adapt to future battles ensures it will remain a crucial tool for close air support and ground attack missions, providing critical firepower to support ground forces in combat. The Mexican cartels have built an army of their own, fitted with armored trucks, heavy machine guns, and even military-grade weapons, but still doesn't stand a chance against America's flying tank, the A-10 Warthog. This jet was born for battlefields where survival is nearly impossible, yet it always comes back. Could cartel firepower even scratch it, or would it be crushed in seconds? Join us as we find out what happens when Mexican cartels challenge the A-10 Warthog. The answer will leave you stunned. For years, Mexican cartels were treated as criminal gangs, but over time, their firepower has grown into something far larger. Today, many of these groups operate more like paramilitary forces. They rule large areas with convoys of trucks, powerful guns and explosives, strong enough to compete with real armies. This did not happen overnight. It took many years, built on smuggling, outside connections, and easy access to black markets full of leftover military weapons. Ordinary pickup trucks have been turned into battlefield machines. Soldiers often call them technicals. Cartels reinforce these vehicles with steel plates and bullet-resistant glass, then mount them with powerful belt-fed weapons. Some carry .50 caliber machine guns, strong enough to rip through light armor or even damage helicopters flying close to the ground. Others carry grenade launchers or improvised rocket systems strapped onto the flatbed. When several of these vehicles move together in a convoy, they can overwhelm local police forces and even hold their ground against Mexico's army in open combat. Their weapon supplies go beyond small arms. Smuggling routes provide access to rifles and explosives built for war zones. Cartels have been seen using M60 machine guns, Barrett .50 caliber sniper rifles, and RPG-7 rocket launchers. These are not weapons meant for back alley shootouts. They are designed for the battlefield. They can pierce armored vehicles, bring down aircraft, or stop advancing troops. In terms of raw firepower, a well-armed cartel group can reach the level of a military infantry squad, at least on paper. The way they organize themselves makes them even more dangerous. In big battles, cartels send out long lines of vehicles moving together in an organized way. They use radios to plan attacks, fly drones to watch from above, and block roads the same way soldiers do. Some groups even mount anti-aircraft guns on trucks, firing thousands of bullets in a minute. With tactics like these, it's hard to tell the difference between a cartel and a real army. For cartel leaders, these weapons are not just for protection, it is about control. Heavy weapons keep smuggling routes open, protect shipments, and strike fear into rivals. These convoys act like moving fortresses, showing force and reminding local police they stand no chance. In places where the government is weak, this kind of military power makes cartels seem impossible to defeat. But even with all this, their power is not without limits. While their weapons are deadly against police or lightly equipped soldiers, They are not built to withstand modern air power. Most of their firepower is effective only at close to medium range. None of it can stop an aircraft designed to fly low, absorb heavy fire, and strike with precision from the sky. This is why many argue that, despite their growing strength, cartels cannot truly match a professional military. Their armored convoys, machine guns, and rocket systems give them the appearance of an army and the confidence to fight like one. But when placed against platforms such as the A-10 Warthog, their weapons become little more than easy targets waiting to be destroyed. Cartels may look powerful on the ground, but their strength fades when compared to an aircraft built to take hits and keep fighting. The real question is, how can convoys and trucks stand a chance against a machine like that? The A-10 Thunderbolt II, better known by its nickname Warthog, was built with a single goal: to protect troops on the battlefield. Unlike sleek fighter jets that rely on speed, the A-10 was made for endurance, precision, and resilience. It flies low, stays near the battle, and delivers massive firepower right where it's needed. One of its key features is the titanium cockpit, known as the bathtub. This thick armor protects the pilot from machine guns and even direct strikes from anti-aircraft weapons. The armor is so effective that planes have returned to base with engines damaged, wings torn, or fuselage riddled with holes, yet remain flyable. Few aircraft in history have shown that kind of toughness. Its most famous weapon is the GAU-8 Avenger, a massive rotary cannon that dominates the front of the aircraft. With 7 barrels, it fires 30mm depleted uranium shells at nearly 4,000 rounds per minute. Each shell can punch through tanks, fortified bunkers, or armored vehicles. The gun is so large that the rest of the plane was designed around it. When the cannon fires, the recoil is powerful enough to slow the jet mid-flight. But the Warthog is not limited to its gun. It can carry a wide range of weapons on its wings, including guided bombs, Maverick missiles, and rocket pods. This mix gives it the ability to take out tanks, artillery, supply depots, and convoys with pinpoint accuracy. More importantly, the A-10 can circle over battlefields for hours, ready to respond the moment ground forces need support. Fast jets pass overhead in seconds. The Warthog stays until the mission is finished. Against cartel firepower, machine guns, RPGs, or improvised technicals, the A-10's design is on another level. In Iraq and Afghanistan, it faced Soviet-built tanks, fortified compounds, and insurgent groups armed with heavy weapons. Even convoys with anti-aircraft guns could not stop it. The Warthog was created during the Cold War to destroy massed waves of Soviet tanks in Europe, so cartel arsenals seem small by comparison. Its survival features also set it apart. The twin engines sit high above the fuselage, keeping them away from ground fire and debris. They are built to keep running even when damaged, and at low power, they are quiet enough to make tracking difficult. Its wide wings give it strong lift, allowing it to fly low and slow while staying steady enough to hit targets accurately. The A-10 is also known for reliability. It has backup controls so pilots can keep flying even if hydraulics fail. Its fuel tanks conceal when hit, lowering the risk of fire or explosion. Tough landing gear lets it take off and land on rough airstrips near combat zones. The Warthog is respected for what it can do, not how it looks. Since its first flight in the 1970s, it has proven itself in every major conflict. Decades later, it remains unmatched in the role it was created for. Against ground units without advanced air defenses, the A-10 is devastating. Its mix of armor, endurance, and firepower explains why soldiers trust it and why enemies on the ground dread the sound of it overhead. The A-10 was built to survive the toughest battlefields, but toughness alone is not what makes it feared. Its true reputation comes from the moment it fires its main weapon. So what makes this gun so legendary? At the heart of the Warthog's strength is the GAU-8 Avenger cannon. This huge gun is what makes the plane so deadly. Unlike the smaller weapons carried by most jets, the Avenger was built for one job: smashing tanks, breaking bunkers, and wiping out convoys in seconds. With 7 spinning barrels, it fires 30mm rounds that strike with massive force. Each shell weighs nearly a pound and is designed to pierce through heavy armor. Fired in sustained bursts, the cannon spits out close to 4,000 rounds in a minute. The result is devastating. Steel, concrete, and reinforced vehicles crumble on impact. This is not a weapon meant to pin enemies down. It is meant to erase them. The gun sits directly under the plane's nose, lined up with the fuselage for accuracy. This placement makes the A-10 stable while firing. The recoil is so intense that it slows the aircraft slightly every time the trigger is pulled. Yet the Warthog was built to handle this kickback. The gun and plane are not separate tools. They function together as a single system. In combat, the Avenger has shown its effectiveness across different terrains. In deserts, it rips apart convoys moving supplies. In the mountains, the Warthog can hit hidden enemy positions with accuracy that normal artillery cannot. Its shells move so fast that they reach the target almost at once. Against tanks and armored vehicles, the heavy rounds break through defenses that smaller weapons cannot touch. The sound of the cannon has also become part of its legend. Soldiers often describe the deep roar as frightening for the enemy, but comforting for those it protects. That noise comes from the sheer number of shells being fired, each strong enough to damage or destroy a vehicle. Behind the gun is a giant drum stored inside the plane's body. It holds over 1,000 shells, allowing the Warthog to make several attack runs before needing to reload. A simple system feeds the shells into the gun and returns the empty cases back into the drum, keeping the plane balanced and steady even during heavy combat. Cartel convoys or fortified hideouts would stand little chance against such firepower. Makeshift armor bolted onto trucks cannot withstand the impact of a 30mm depleted uranium round. Where rifles or rocket-propelled grenades might damage a vehicle, the Avenger leaves it in ruins. For this reason, militaries trust the A-10 to tackle threats that ground troops cannot handle safely. During campaigns in Iraq and Afghanistan, the cannon proved its worth time and again. It was used against insurgents hiding in cities and villages, where precision mattered. The A-10 does not need to drop bombs that destroy everything around. It can go after enemy fighters directly, hitting hard without causing massive damage to the area. That mix of accuracy and devastation is what makes the Avenger stand apart from any other aircraft cannon in service. While the A-10 can carry guided bombs and missiles, it often does not need them. The cannon is strong enough to control the fight on its own. Entire armored columns, once thought to be the backbone of ground warfare, became vulnerable when faced with the Warthog. For any enemy relying on vehicles or fortified positions, the Avenger turns the battlefield into a death trap. Every design decision on the A-10 traces back to this gun. The armor, the engines, even the shape of the wings were all engineered to support the cannon. The Avenger is not just a weapon added to the jet, it is the reason the plane was built. This mix of gun and aircraft makes the Warthog one of the most feared planes in the world, able to wipe out ground targets in seconds. The A-10's cannon was built to tear through anything on the ground, but its real test came in wars where threats often hid in plain sight. How would the Warthog prove itself when the danger was not always visible? In Iraq and Afghanistan, battles were not fought in wide-open fields. They happened in busy cities, steep mountains, and huge deserts where enemies hid and attacked by surprise. These tough conditions tested the Warthog in ways training never could. What set the plane apart was its skill to fly low and keep fighting. Sleek fighter jets had speed, but that speed often worked against them when targets were small, hidden, or moving in tight spaces. In contrast, the A-10's wide wings let it fly slowly without stalling, giving pilots time to circle, watch, and wait. Soldiers on the ground valued this loiter time because it meant they had cover overhead even during sudden ambushes in difficult terrain. The threats were constant. Insurgents relied on roadside bombs, rocket-propelled grenades, and heavy machine guns. Some even had access to old Soviet-made anti-aircraft weapons. While these could be deadly to helicopters or light planes, the Warthog was built for punishment. Its titanium armor, backup systems, and rugged design allowed it to keep flying after taking hits that would bring down most aircraft. Many A-10s came back to base full of holes, yet still able to fight another day. In Iraq, one big lesson stood out. Accuracy was more important than sheer power. Enemies often hid in plain sight, driving in regular cars and trucks mixed with civilians. Dropping bombs or firing missiles could harm innocent people. But the GAU-8 cannon provided pilots a way to hit their target with much more control. This made the A-10 especially useful in modern wars, where protecting civilians was just as important as defeating the enemy. Afghanistan brought a different test. Its high mountains, deep valleys, and far-off villages gave fighters plenty of places to hide and made moving supplies difficult. The Warthog adjusted to this challenge. It could take off and land on rough airstrips close to the action, instead of relying only on big bases far away. This meant it could refuel, rearm, and get back into the fight quickly, staying close to the ground troops who needed help. The sound of the Warthog was also a weapon on its own. Soldiers often said hearing it circle above gave them courage, knowing backup was near. For the enemy, that same sound was a warning. If they moved or showed themselves, they could be struck within seconds. This fear kept many fighters hidden or forced them to pull back. The A-10 also proved itself as more than a tank killer. In both wars, it destroyed mortar crews, artillery sites, hidden bunkers, and supply depots. It protected convoys, covered medical evacuations, and provided a shield for soldiers caught under fire. Its mix of endurance and heavy firepower made it more than an attack plane. It became a guardian for the troops it supported. Together, Iraq and Afghanistan solidified the Warthog's reputation as the specialist for close air support. Other jets may dominate dogfights or deliver high-speed bombing runs, but few can match the A-10's ability to fly low, absorb hits, strike precisely, and stay on station for hours. These qualities made it one of the most dependable aircraft in modern warfare. The lessons were clear. Survival, accuracy, and persistence matter more than sheer speed or the newest technology when enemies hide among civilians or rugged terrain. The experience from these two wars showed why the A-10, despite its age, remains one of the most effective tools against heavily armed forces on the ground, no matter where the fight takes place. In Iraq and Afghanistan, the A-10 proved itself against trained fighters. That raises the question, what chance would a cartel convoy have? The Warthog was originally designed to wipe out Soviet tank columns during the Cold War. A cartel force, even one with improvised armor, would not last long under that kind of firepower. The GAU-8 Avenger cannon fires close to 4,000 rounds a minute, and each one can punch through thick steel. A line of trucks, pickups, or reinforced SUVs would be reduced to burning wreckage in seconds. Cartels often imitate military tactics. They weld steel plates onto vehicles, mount heavy weapons in truck beds, and travel in convoys meant to intimidate rivals. These tactics can overwhelm police units or even Mexican army patrols, but against the A-10, they would mean nothing. Vehicles that look threatening on the ground are easy targets from above. The Warthog can spot them, engage them, and destroy dozens in a single pass. Unlike fast jets, the A-10 is built to fly low, linger over the battlefield, and keep attacking until the job is done. That persistence was what made it so effective in Iraq and Afghanistan. Cartel groups, no matter how heavily armed, cannot counter that kind of pressure. Rockets, mortars, or rifles are no match for titanium armor and backup systems designed to survive direct hits from enemy tanks. This leads to a sensitive political issue. In recent years, Washington has debated whether the U.S. military should take direct action against cartels. Reports have shown that former President Donald Trump even signed a secret order telling the Pentagon to prepare for possible operations. Around the same time, cartels were officially labeled as foreign terrorist organizations, raising the possibility of military strikes at sea or on land. Mexico's government pushed back quickly. Officials stated that no American troops or aircraft would ever cross into Mexican territory. President Claudia Sheinbaum made it clear that cooperation would continue, but invasion was not on the table. Mexico stressed its sovereignty and flatly refused to allow foreign forces to operate on its soil. That meant that while intelligence sharing and border operations would move forward, the A-10 would never be used in official missions inside Mexico. This response highlights more than politics. It shows just how destructive the A-10 would be if it were unleashed on cartels. Police raids and small unit military actions are targeted and limited. The Warthog, on the other hand, delivers overwhelming force. A short mission could wipe out convoys, safe houses, or supply lines in minutes. The damage would be immense, and it would spill over far beyond one border. For that reason, cooperation has focused on other methods: intelligence, surveillance, and border security. Joint efforts track the flow of fentanyl, weapons, and migrants. Cartel finances are hit through sanctions, seizures, and tariffs. At the border, drug seizures, especially of fentanyl, have been cut nearly in half, and illegal crossings have dropped as enforcement tightened. These measures show the clear line between law enforcement and full-scale military power. Even so, the fact remains, if any cartel ever faced the A-10 directly, the fight would be over before it began. Convoys would be shredded, hidden compounds uncovered, and supply routes broken within hours. The Warthog was built for battlefields where tanks and anti-aircraft weapons filled the horizon. Against convoys of trucks and light arms, the result would be pure destruction. That is why planners may examine the idea but stop short of using it. The firepower is not just overwhelming, it is absolute. Facing the A-10 is not a battle, it is suicide. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.